Good morning, everybody. We have 19 subscribers. Let's go. It's a larger number than it was yesterday. I don't know how that happened. I think it's because I keep shilling it in the end or whatever of the videos. So welcome, everybody. You're in the best, most exclusive, private, paid members only. If you haven't paid your $100 per month on Patreon and you're somehow on this Telegram, it's a big no-no. This is the 100. That's you somehow snuck in. Raise your hand now. Identify yourself. Everyone else, thank you for the $100 a month. I appreciate it. So quick message of the morning message is essentially, I have no clue who's here right now, but essentially the message is this, that there are two types of people who are in your life. There are people you approach and people who approach you. And you can get into a mindset where you basically create a set of rules for yourself. Maybe you're introverted, maybe you're whatever you are. Maybe you're arrogant, maybe you feel like people should approach you and it's beneath you to approach other people. But whatever the reason, whatever the rhyme, you might get into a situation where you sort of feel like people need to approach you, and so therefore the only people who are in your life are the people who approach you, and you don't have any people in your life who you've approached. Now maybe that's not an absolute rule, but I'm just saying that this can get you into a weird psychological situation, because let's say you have some people in your life, there are all these people who've approached you. You're going to have a sense of limitation. You're going to have a sense of, okay, I'm just at the whim and the fancy of other people to approach me. And I have these friends, I have these people in my life. And I don't know when some other people will approach me. So I have to deal with these people. It's kind of like growing up in a small town. You're like, okay, well, these are my options. And if I don't like somebody, or someone doesn't treat me right, or someone disrespects me, I guess I just have to engage with that person. I don't have the choice to just run away. I have to engage with this person. That, of course, is based on a fallacy, right? This fallacy that there are these limited number of people who you can interact with, whether it's in business, employment, job-related, romantic, whatever it is. The world's a big place. So if someone's not treating you right, someone's being toxic, you don't necessarily have to negotiate with that person. Don't negotiate with terrorists. If someone is terrorizing you and making your life harder than it needs to be, and you're not growing, you're not learning from them. I'm not saying defoo from people. Obviously your family is an exception to this. And I'm not saying you should never work through problems, and you can look at a person and say, okay, I've known this person for a while, now we're in an argument. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis, and you maybe talk to someone you do trust about this sort of thing. But that's one thing, is don't be afraid when you look at a person. You say, wow, this person annoys me, I don't gain anything from them, it's just making my life harder. You have no obligation to engage with that person, to explain yourself to that person, to spend time on that person. Because generally what that person is looking to do, they're looking to upset you so they can be the squeaky wheel. Because they want attention. And if you don't give it to them, your life will be better. So that's one message. The other thing I wanted to say, this is something I've been struggling with. There are times in your life, so I've just given you an example of how maybe someone's causing you problems, causing you trouble, and you basically just, don't respond, block, ghost, disengage, just don't even bother trying to say, hey, I think you're in the wrong, this is why you're in the wrong, you should treat me better, blah, 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 just disengage. But on the other hand, connected to this, is that oftentimes people get stuck in these sorts of relationships, these sorts of negative like just someone's being rude to you or whatever they're doing, and you feel like you can't break off that relationship, oftentimes it's because you let the first time slide. Like the first time someone treated you bad, the first time someone disrespected you, the first time someone wasted your time, the first time someone treated you, the way you should not be treated, you maybe didn't say anything, right? And so then you feel like, well, I'll just let that slide. I don't want to make a big deal. I don't want to be confrontational. I don't want to create a problem. I'll just kind of let this one slide, and I'm just not really going to talk to this person anymore. Well, the truth is that a lot of times people see that and their eyes get big and they say, oh, this is a person who's going to let me get away with anything. And then they keep engaging with you because they enjoy feeling powerful and kind of bullying you. So you have to stand up for yourself, and you have to do it early and often. And it doesn't mean that you're rude in return, but you just say, look, what you've done, I feel a little bit disrespected. I feel a little bit like this isn't really working for me. So, I don't want us to continue in this way. And that might just mean we totally break it off, or something else. Maybe we need to change how we're communicating. But you need to communicate that early and often. It's like, hey, I'm not really comfortable with what just happened. I'm not really comfortable with, you made me wait for an hour in an empty parking lot, or you just said something, you insulted my personal appearance or something. And you say, like, look, I don't know what you meant by that. I don't know if that was an accident, but like, it's not really working for me, and I can't really trust in what we're doing here. This is not like a trustworthy thing to me, so it either has to change or, have a nice life. And that's hard to do because these are almost opposite sentiments, right? It's almost like if you're not hard and fast with people, if you're not just like, hey, something's just happened that's wrong, I'm going to call it out. If you don't do that immediately, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, well, I didn't call it out the first time, so now it's hard to call, and it becomes a pattern. You don't call it out the first time, you don't call it out the second time, and then you just get used to just like gritting your teeth and being angry and resentful, but never doing anything about it. And so that's the point at which you have to just call it off, because you can't send someone an email that's 10 pages say, well, first when we met you did this and that was unacceptable, but I forgave it, and then you did this and then I forgave that, and then you don't want to be in that position. So there comes a point where you cut your losses. But if you want to prevent yourself from getting in these situations all the time, where you're just constantly like surrounded by people you all hate and you want to cut them all off, maybe have a little bit of self-criticism and say like, hey, was there an opportunity where I could have said, like, on the first day, like, hey, this isn't working for me. I don't really like the way you're treating me, and I'm not going to tolerate this. This has to change. If you can do that, there's a kind of element of conflict to it. So for conflict adverse people, they're going to end up in these situations where you're stuck around a bunch of people you don't like, and then you have to cut them off. But if you can learn how to overcome that fear, and you can just straight up say what you feel, when you feel it, how you feel it, then you're going to save yourself a lot of time, a lot of stress. You're going to make your life easier so that you can go on and do the things you actually want to do. So hope you guys got something out of this message, something that I'm working on, something that I struggle with, being very direct and being like, yo, what you just did made me feel weird, and I don't know how I feel about that. Just being very, very open about your emotions. I know it feels vulnerable to do that, but I think ultimately it will be very good for you to practice. I know it can also feel very womanly. It can feel like, oh, you're just complaining. Everything's a problem. Why is everything about you? But, there's a way to do that that's very direct and to the point, and not overly narcissistic or drama-inducing. Just be like, yeah, you made me wait for a long time today, or I don't know what was up with that, but not really working for me. So, have a good one. Anyway, I guess maybe we'll do another live stream at some point. I don't know. There's a tension between getting feedback. I have the email. You guys know my email. You guys know how to give me your Telegram if you want a one-on-one. But I don't want to hear about your crazy flat Earth theories. I don't want to hear about how you think math isn't real, or I mean, I guess it depends. But yeah, those are pretty. It's pretty important that you you don't like dismiss an entire field of knowledge just because you failed high school geometry or something.